welcome back to the channel, man. Glad you're all here. Been a busy couple of weeks on the Z28. As you can tell, it's still in primer. Ground effects, I have 2 weeks on the ground effects, man. The front end of this thing, if you remember from the other videos, was banged up, beaten up, chunked up, missing parts. The passenger side ground effects was all screwed up, missing a big old piece. You saw how I fiberglassed that. That's all ready to go. We got our paint today. Now, I could have put just any kind of silver on this car, but believe it or not, this little quart right here was 150 bucks. Now, I could have put any kind of silver on here, but if any of you body guys know, silvers have all different kinds of hues to them. Sometimes a certain light to look red, sometimes to look pink. You know, I wanted the proper color that goes on this, and this is silver metallic, 1977. Right there it is. So, it wasn't cheap. We have the rims prepped and ready, primed to go for the paint. We're gonna paint the rims exact same color as the ground effects. So that's what we're doing tonight. We still have not picked the color for the outside of the car. I have an idea of what I want to go. I haven't got many responses on the color. I know I'm not that big on YouTube yet, but I would love to have some kind of feedback on which color red if you went ahead and watched my previous video. But I gotta go ahead and tape up the bottom here because we're going to spray the ground effects. You can show the front end. The front end is finally back to normal. It's in one piece. I went ahead and took 600 to it. It's nice and smooth now. And I gotta tack it off and then tape everything up. And we're gonna go ahead and spray it. As you see, the rims are sitting over here. They're ready to go as well. Now, remember, I don't have a big production shop, guys. I'm doing this out of my garage, probably just like you, the guy watching this, or gal watching this. I don't have a big production. I don't have a big shop. I have a simple 20 by 30 garage. Yes, I will be making a paint booth out of this. I'll take visqueen plastic and put it all over and dust it all out and spray it all down and have my fans going when it comes down to laying the actual paint on this. But I'm gonna go ahead and start prepping the ground effect, which they're ready to go. I gotta tack it off, and we're gonna go ahead and tape it up from here up. We're gonna spray it, but we're not gonna clear coat the ground effects until we paint the car, and we'll clear coat the whole thing at one time. So tonight you're gonna witness the silver going on the ground effects, and we're going to end up painting the rims as well. Like I said, guys, you can do this stuff in your own house. If you have the wherewithal and know how to do it, it's not hard to do. And oh, by the way, I just want to let y'all know, I'm not a big, I got it here somewhere. I want to let you know right away that I finally got my own line of shirts. So if anybody would like one of their personalized Adventures Bound t-shirts, man, right there it is. Cheap, $1, you know, a wave, a handshake, a follow, you know. No link, but no. So in all seriousness, guys, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm going to tape the car up, and then when you come back, you're gonna see the car taped up. I'm going to be tacking it off, and then we're gonna be mixing some paint and spraying it all the car. Thanks for being here, guys. Now somebody might be saying, the car is not sanded yet. No, I have not sanded the car yet. There's still a few spots that I want to go over on the car. Now the hood is pretty much done. I took it down with 800. It feels really nice. But I have not sanded the rest of the car yet. But once I get the ground effects painted, I'm going to go ahead and tape and mask this off and cover this up when I get ready to spray the whole car. Then when it's done, we'll take it all off and clear coat it together. But I'm going to go ahead and tape this up. And this is the tedious part of the job. Now, it's definitely a cool day down here today in the south. It's probably 60s, but very low humidity, which is nice, which is what you want down south. Now, I will be turning a heater on here shortly to get a little heat in the garage for the paint. But I'll go ahead, mask all this off, take paper and go up. That's why I put that layer there. And we'll tack it off one more time and get to spraying. Remember, guys, you get your own personalized t-shirts. Logo's even on the back of the shirt. You know, I got a lot of friends that ask me over the years, you know, how do I learn how to do all this stuff? And I just tell them, you know, back in the 80s when I was a teenager, you didn't have much to do except hang out with your buddies and ride bikes and play with Hot Wheels and stuff like that. We didn't have cell phones and PlayStations and the stuff kids have today, but I read a lot of books, man. If I wanted to learn how to do something, I learned how to do it myself. You know, my father always told me and my sister, don't pay someone to do something you can learn how to do yourself. Read a book. And that stuck with me since I was a kid. Because when I take a car somewhere and I watch a guy fix a tranny, or I watch a guy rebuild an engine, or I watch a guy put tires on, or a simple oil change, I thought to myself, I'm paying you to do that. Why can't I do that? So I've got the last 35 years, or almost 40 years of learning, of trial and error, of, you know, my first paint jobs were garbage. You know, I honed my skills over the years, and a lot of you guys watching this probably have learned all your stuff on your own too, or you had a father that taught you how to do things as well. But never think you can't do something. You may not get the result of a professional, but at the end of the day, it's your car or it's your project, and you're going to be satisfied with the outcome. At least I hope you are. I take more pride in doing things myself. Now, in my neck of the woods here, in my neighborhood, I'm the guy when they say, hey, I know a guy. You know, I know a guy who does this. I know a guy who does that. You know, I weld, bodywork, I paint, I install windshield, I do custom interiors, I do wiring, I build engines, I build trannies, I build rear ends. Pretty much anything on an automobile, I know how to do. I've just been doing it for, like I said, since I was 15, 16 years old. I rebuilt my first engine when I was 12. So, yeah. I'm all about pushing yourself to learn, to do something that you would more or less pay somebody else to do. And I also understand it's a thing about time and, you know, tools, but everyone's different. Now, I'm not saying this car is going to be, like I said, going on the Barrett Jackson, you know, auction line. But I can guarantee you, when it's done, I'm going to be proud of it. It's going to look sharp. I've honed my skills over the years on my painting skills, and I'm very proud of what I do. And I hope you are too, proud of your work. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to continue to tape this up, and when you come back, we're going to be mixing some paint, laying some paint on these things. Thanks, guys. I always like to clean my hose off before I go. You always want to have a clean hose before you're going to use it. Any grease or anything like that that's on it. Now, again, this is in a garage, so no big production. I got a fan blowing in here. It's about 73 to 74 degrees here, which is perfect. No humidity. We're going to go ahead and mix some paint. Now, again, I have several guns that I use. Now, any of you guys recognize one of these old bad boys? Yeah, I used one of these back in the 80s. Can you imagine painting with one of these on the paint on your wrist? Man, those guys were rock stars back then. Well, this is the gun we're going to be using right here. Just a cheap $32 Harbor Freight gun. We're going to use this just for the ground effects. Now, I do have my Leonardo that I use for spraying the main paint on the car and my clear coats. So, and this is a great gun. I've had this gun probably 20 years. I mean, maybe less, not much longer than that. But it's a great gun. If you clean them all the time, take care of them, they last a long time. Like I said, I ain't crazy on my air compressor. I got a filter on the air compressor, I got a filter on my gun. I just drained the tank. I'm always draining my tank, make sure there's no moisture in these tanks. So we shouldn't get much water. Hope not. But then again, we're only doing the ground effects. Now when I go ahead and I actually paint the car, that'll be a whole new production, a whole different. You'll see plastic in here, you'll see the floor cleaned up. But like I said, we're just doing the ground effects, guys, you know. You could do a rattle can if that's what you want to do, but you know, I want this car to look right, so let's mix some paint. Now this is 2 to 1, 2 parts paint, 1 part hardener. Man, look at that. Yeah, buddy. Look at that. Always stir your paint up good, boys and gals. Man, look at that. Now, I did have it shaking at the store when I bought it today, but I'm going to always make sure, stir it up good, make sure there's nothing on the bottom. And like I said, got it marked 2 to 1. 2 parts paint, 1 part hardener. This paint is not required to be reduced, although I could put a little reducer in there to let it go through the gun a little better, but we're going to wing it. Find my spot, which is right there. Give me a marker. Right there, right there. Now, when we go to paint the car itself, we're going to use the big boy, the 2.5 quarter. Now, I got to remember, when you're mixing your paint, you're putting hardener in there, so you all know you got to get the paint on the car fairly quick, because if you don't, it starts to set up, then it gums up your gun, and then it sticks and spits and sputs, and then you got crap in your paint. Now you notice I'll pour this one, but I won't pour that gallon like I did the other day. That should be plenty to do the rims and the ground effects. Oh, that's reducer. With the hardener. There we go. 2 in 1. Now, if you ever buy paint, buy a quart like this, and you're unsure of what the formula is, 2 to 1, 4 to 1, 6 to 1, all these numbers on the side of these cups. When you pick up your paint from your parts store, don't be afraid to ask, because some paints have different requirements. Unless you work with an enamel, single stage, they just pretty much reduce it, put a little bit of hardener in it, and spray it. But as you can see, the car is ready. The car is taped off. I went ahead and took my tack cloth to it. It's ready to go. Man, these filters got smashed. Man, who sat on them? Yeah, this is gonna look so good on there, especially on those rims. Let me tell you, I got about a week on those rims as well. Sanding them down, taping them up. Tedious work, tedious work. But like I said, we're gonna make this car look like that picture I showed you. And I could post it again. This is kind of thick for my taste. But I really don't want to put reducer in it. All right, we're going for it. Now I've already gone and adjusted my flow and my air and my feed. So always want to test it first. Make sure you get your fan right, get your pressure right, get your air right. Because some of these guns come preset, but then some of them don't. But you always want to make sure your stuff is set. We've already practiced here once. Now I'll show you. I like the flow. Perfect. All right, we're going to start the back of the car here. You're good. Fire it up. Plenty of paint. All right, guys, there you have it. 2 coats of silver metallic on the car. I think it came out amazing. Take a look at that. No runs, no spits, no burps. Now this still needs to be clear coated and it's still tacky, but I think it came out amazing. Especially that front end. And I'll show you, I'll post a picture of the before and after. Look at that front end and look at it now. Beautiful. And the rims came out beautiful too. And it is the actual color that's supposed to be for 1986 Z28s and the IROCs. But we had a problem. Now, like I said before, you can do things on a budget, on a cheap. 1, Harbor Freight guns. I don't know if any of you saw while I was painting, I was struggling. Now these guns are like 25, 30 bucks, and they're great for home projects, stuff like this. Now this gun is brand new. I only used it one time before, and if you notice while I was spraying, the trigger, like you see it, is sticking, it's stuck. Something in the plunger right here is not letting it go. So I had to stop, adjust it, stop, adjust it. Thankfully we got no runs. Everything came out nice and even. So yeah, I have extras of these. I buy a couple at a time. But when we go ahead and put the final paint on this car and a clear coat on this car, we will not be using a Harbor Freight gun. We're gonna be using my Leonardo. But I hope you like it, guys. I'm just trying to say you can do this kind of stuff at home from your own garage. As you see, I'm just in a regular 20 by 30 garage. Now the next video you see, you will see the car sanded, blocked, and ready for paint. We're going to be painting this car here probably in the next 2 weeks, so look forward to that episode. I want to thank all my subscribers and all my new subscribers. Thank you guys for being here. If you like this kind of stuff, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. Look guys, I'm just trying to make you some good content. Don't forget, I'm taking a big trip this June, so actually my leaving date's going to be June 15th, June 17th. You're not going to want to miss this adventure that Adventures Bound is going on. But guys, thanks for being here. I hope you enjoyed the video. Peace.